Are you a breeder looking to showcase your show pigs? With a Walton Webcasting Show Pig Shoot, we are your go-to video service for capturing the full picture of your show pigs. We specialize in providing top-quality video services for breeders like you. Our skilled video team comes directly to your operation. You talk to pigs, we capture the video. Whether it's baby pigs, boars, gilts, or sows, we ensure that their unique features will shine through. With the power of our website and social media, your professionally recorded videos are streamed live, allowing potential customers from all over the country to view and appreciate the quality of your show pigs. We handle the technicalities so you can focus on what you do best, raising exceptional livestock. To schedule your next show pig shoot, call Rhonda at 765-431-7367. Welcome to the ultimate show on the track. Today we celebrate our premier partners, the driving force behind the livestock industry across the nation. Get ready to witness the power of partnership as our premier partners take to the asphalt. Green light and they're off. On the track we have our first partner, Laird Premium Blend Genetics from premiumblendgenetics.com. Next up, it's Beck's Hybrids from beckshybrids.com. And here comes Showright from showright.com. Coming around, we have Brad Howe Ford from bhiford.com. Right behind them, it's Biozyme from biozymeinc.com. And here comes First Farmers Bank and Trust from ffbt.com. And rounding out the racers, it's Kennedy Ventures from kennedyventuresok.com. On the track and in the ring, it's all about collaboration and teamwork.
And remove cover as we honor our country and our beautiful flag with the singing of our national anthem. It's a pleasure that I introduce to you Kaylee Younghans from the Medford FFA. Kaylee's a senior.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Great job. Thank you. Kaylee Younghans from Medford. It's a great way to get started this morning. Over here in the ring, number 1, we'll have your main cattle and your maintainers.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Over here in ring number 2, we're going to kick off this morning with the Horned Hereford breeding heifers. I want to introduce our judge this morning, Mr. Zach Butler. Zach comes to us from the great state of Tennessee. Zach was a member of the livestock judging team at Blackhawk East Community College and Oklahoma State University. He's judged numerous state and national shows across the country. He and his wife Autumn, they've got 2 daughters. They own and operate Butler Creek Farms. They raise Gelbvieh and Balancer cattle. Welcome to the Oklahoma Youth Expo, Mr. Zach Butler, the judge over here in ring number 2.
And over here in ring number 1, on the main side, we welcome our judge, Mr. Jonathan Perry. Jonathan is from Fayetteville, Tennessee. Been the manager of Deer Valley Farm for over the last 25 years, where they specialize in registered Angus feedstock. Markets 400 plus registered Angus bulls a year, plus 300 female registered Angus. He is currently the chairman of the American Angus Association. He and his wife, Jackie, have a daughter, Allie, who attends Oklahoma State University, and a son, Zach, and daughter-in-law, Bonnie, who they enjoy their very first grandson, Brewer. It's a pleasure to have Mr. Jonathan Perry on ring number 1.
Well, good morning. It's exciting to be back here with you on the final day of our breeding heifer show, and a real good way to start off here in these horned females. I like this darker red heifer to go ahead and lead off. A female that's got a little advantage in terms of just length of body. I think length of hip are in her advantage as well. She's a female that's a nickel square there from hooks to pins. I think she's a little bolder down through her forerib and heart as we get her back out here. I really do like the heifer in second as well. Really stylish, really attractive. She's good at the ground in terms of her structure and her feet and legs. Again, just gets a little shorter hipped, a little lower pinned for me compared to that class winner out here today. But an awesome way to start off the horned female show with a good pair of June heifer calves here. Congratulations to both those young ladies.
We're on the main side this morning. We got a really nice class to start our show with today. Really a high quality individual to start this class, a heifer that floats to the top pretty easily for me. Extremely long spine, long bodied, long fronted. A heifer that has that nice cow look to her front end. Head and neck come up out of that shoulder just right. Got enough chest to make a cow, but still going to be really nice fronted. She's a heifer that's really nice and sound when you get her out on the move. Awfully good individual to start our class with. Really like some things about this heifer behind her. Maybe not quite as much gas in her, but a heifer that is beautiful fronted, a heifer that's got some bold rib shape to her, got some red meat and muscle to her. You might like to lay that knee back in just a little softer, lay that shoulder back in just a notch, but really a nice heifer. A young lady's heifer that ends the class, just needs a few more days to catch up. Not quite as much middle to her, not quite as much bark on her yet, but a really nice trio of heifers to start with.
Just a single entry here in this second class, a Mayborn female the young lady's got for us. Super attractive, super stylish, long and extended up front, really good in her chest floor, got some length of body to her. She's good enough at the ground off those rear two. There's maybe times she gets a little more upright in the angle to her shoulder. I don't want to push up there in the center part of her back just ever so slightly, but still, that's a really nice heifer there that could stand some competition. We'll see her again here in a few moments, probably in a division. So congratulations, young lady.
Let me get up to speed on the placings over here as the Horned Hereford Breeding Heifer Show has begun in ring number 2. In that first class, congratulations to Kendall Sadler from the Ripley FFA, first place. Mabry Howard of Allen 4-H was second. Single entry there in class 2. Congratulations, Cricket Collins from the Tillman County 4-H. We're now going to select our division champion in reserve.
Over here in the show ring number 1 on the main side, your class placings for Class 1. Congratulations to your class winner, Catherine Cross from Comanche 4-H. Second place, Payne McCarter from Antlers. And in third, Bailey Matlock from the Surreal FFA. We now have Class 2 of your main breeding heifers in the show ring.
Competitive first division here in the Horned Hereford Show, and talk about them just briefly. We just saw them a few seconds ago, but the young lady's heifer out of that first class, you know, I liked her length. I like her length of hip, her squareness there from hooks to pins. Female that goes to the ground, real soft and comfortable on all four corners. That second that came out of that class, I think matches her in terms of her structure. She too is really soft and collected at the ground. As we ask her to lead, she gives you a good look. You know, we talked that pair. That one's a nickel shorter hip, a little bit lower pinned out here today, but still a real high-quality female. And then we get back to our young lady's heifer out of that second class, one that's real striking to look at, up-headed, tight-throated, and good in her chest floor. Gives you a good look there at the profile as well. I think of these three, she's the one that's a little straighter in her shoulder, a little tighter in her spine for me out here today. And with that, I'm going to keep these two out of that first class together as your champion in reserve. Let's give them a nice hand.
Congratulations there. Out of class number 1, Kendall Sadler was your champion, Division 1, and Mabry Howard, your reserve champion.
You know it's going to be a pretty good day when you start getting hit with quality like this in the first class or two. So I'm really looking forward to what keeps coming at me today. This was pretty special right here. It's a nice kind of female to start our second class with. Here's a heifer that's extremely long from nose to tail, a heifer that's got a beautiful curve to that front knee. You love the way her neck comes up out of her shoulder. You love the old loose-hided cow look she gives you in that front end. But still beautiful from end to end, super hip, big-bodied, nice deep flank in her. A female that I love that cushion in her pastern, the way she pushes off that rear leg and gets out and moves. She's a heifer that kind of does everything right. Young man's heifer coming behind her, very nice in her own right. Not quite as attractive out that front 1/3. Tailhead might want to sit down in her just a notch more and maybe give her just a little more design off that rear hocking leg when she gets out and goes. but a big-bellied, big, good kind of heifer to be second today. Young lady's heifer in third, really striking from the side profile, has some eye appeal, has some look, just tends to get a little more bound up on both ends as she gets out on the go. You just maybe like to free her up a notch, see her move a little smoother to get out of here. The heifer coming next on the stand, really square hip, really good top, really good made from end to end. There again, one that just gets a notch steeper in that shoulder. Maybe wants to just roll forward on that front knee a little more than I'd like to see at this stage of the game. But a heifer that's very long-bodied, very well made. Good class of females.
Congratulations to your Class 2 winner over here in the main side, Chloe Clark from Muldrow 4-H, followed by Boone Gray from North Rock Creek FFA. Third, Colby Kessler from Stratford FFA. And fourth, Stella Worley from Ringland 4-H. We now have Class 3 of Maine breeding heifers making their way into the show ring.
Another nice lineup of these April horn females here, and a good pair here on the top end. A female the young man's got. I think when you get these cattle out on the go, she really reaches and grabs the ground and feels her track. I love her hip. I love her hind legs. She's bold in her center skeleton. You know, if you could change this one, you maybe just want to see her shoulder set onto her a little tighter and neater there up front. I think the angle of it is fine. The set to her knee is good. She's just a little bolder shouldered, but she backs it up, being pretty big topped and wide pinned, a lot of foot and a lot of substance in that female. Still gives you a real nice look there as well. I like the heifer in two. I think she's a little more conventional just in terms of her look out here today. Maybe not quite as attractive and up-headed and high tying as the one right in front of her, but she is a little better in the way her shoulders set onto her skeleton there. She's good bodied. She's relaxed in her spine, real good structured kind of a female as well, just real practical in her basic build. The young man's heifer that's going to go three is one that you can certainly tie into. I think a female that offers some balance. She too's got some shape and some dimension when you get in behind the cattle. I think of these first three, I do read her to be just a little straighter there up front off of her shoulder and the way her knee is set back into her, but still a real attractive one that's got some balance and some boldness to her. Young lady's heifer coming here next. Again, one that's striking. She's eye-appealing, really up-headed and good in her chest floor. Again, for me, one that's maybe just a little straighter up front, a little tighter and kind of concave there through that forerib and heart for me out here today. The young man's loud marked heifer coming out here next in line. Got some foot size, got some bone to her. She's a stout-hipped kind of a female. Again, just gets a little more upright in her shoulder, a little tighter maybe in that rear rib and flank than some of those other cattle. Doesn't quite flex that hock and use it as comfortably as some of the others. Female that's coming here next in line, again, got some shape, got some width and some dimension to her. Just gets a little more out of balance, maybe not quite as soft in her rib cage, a little tighter in her flank, a little more tubular, I think is the best way to say it there in her rib design out here today. And then our young lady's heifer we're going to conclude with, big-footed, got bone, got some ruggedness about her. With that, though, she gets just a little coarser, a little plainer, a little rounder on both ends of that skeleton for me. But a nice class, a good pair there on the top end. Congratulations.
Placings in class number 3 over here in ring 2, the Horned Hereford Breeding Heifer Show. Congratulations, Wyatt McIntyre, the Leedy FFA chapter, is first place. Jalen Coons from the Thomas Fay Custer chapter is second. Coven Lewis of Comanche is third. Fourth goes to Emmy Banks of the Vanoss 4-H. Taylor Mars from Tecumseh is fifth. Brooke Bain from Elgin is sixth. Keely Utter from Tecumseh is seventh. Congratulations, exhibitors.
This is one of those classes that'll wake you up pretty quick in the morning when you're just getting started. I mean, it's deep. You get down into the 5th, 6th, 7th place. I mean, there's heifers that could win a lot of classes in a lot of places. And I think a guy could give and take in several spots all the way through the front end of this class and talk his way through it. And 3 or 4 of you came out here and stood beside me. I promise you we'd all see them 3 or 4 different ways. There is a tremendous amount of quality. I just love the mobility of this heifer, and I love this heifer relative to the class out through that front 1/3. The way she's got some chest that sits in there nice and shows you some longevity, but yet she comes out of that shoulder nice up into that neck and head. She's a big barreled heifer, but I really love her when you get her out on the move. The way she reaches off that hind leg, I'll grant she could be just a notch longer hipped. She's a heifer that can maybe get just a little smoother in her top at times, but a heifer that I think just kind of puts the most pieces together and shows me the most longevity of the pair we start with. Big, bold, stout one in second. I really like some things about this heifer. I love her bone structure. I love her body. I love her shape. She wants to come apart just a notch right in behind that shoulder, and I think as time goes by, she's going to push a little more chest out than the heifer ahead of her. Maybe not stay quite as attractive out through that front 1/3, but man, that is a really good pair to start our day in this class with. The next two coming, I think, very much is another pair type. Two heifers that do some things very much alike really well. You know, to make them go any higher today, I'd like to free both of these heifers up just a notch in that shoulder, the way they reach off that front end. But I love the balance and the power, and I think there's just a little more of this heifer in 3rd than the heifer in 4th. But that is another really, really good pair. I think you come back down into the next 3 females. They're very much alike, big-bodied, very practical, good kind of cattle. Next heifer coming at us, she is really sound made. Just gets a little plainer in that hip, a little plainer in that front relative to the others. Maybe a little softer on that hind leg than a couple out there. Heifer coming next just gets a little squarer headed, a little chuffier chested, maybe not quite as fluent when she gets out and moves, but a heifer that does have some rib dimension and length of spine to her. Big, tall, pretty one here, just maybe gets a little coarser in her joints. A heifer that maybe not quite as attractive out through that front 1/3 long term, but a heifer that does a lot of things well. We round out our class with a couple of heifers that just don't have quite enough quality to run any higher today with the buzzsaws that we've got ahead of them. Good class of females.
Good trio of horn march females over here in your Hereford ring, and all 3 of these heifers have got some quality and some things that you appreciate and like, and some trade-offs amongst them. I think, though, at the end of the day, the one that's the hardest to punch a big hole in is the young lady's heifer I'm going to start with, and she impresses me the most, I think, again, from the ground up. She's the biggest footed. She's the stoutest bone. Her body type matches that build. She's stout. She's robust. She's dense in her look, and still gives you a nice feminine and attractive package to go along with that. You get her into motion. She doesn't disappoint you there. You know, is she a little shorter sided than maybe the heifer right behind her? Yeah, but she's got plenty of length of body, plenty of length of hip. That's a real nice one to go ahead and lead off with. I like the heifer in 2nd, you know, and from the profile, she paints you a good picture. She does have a little more extension and length of spine and length of hip than the heifer right in front of her. I think her disadvantage is, though, she's a little frailer at the ground, a little more refined there. You get in behind the cattle, she's not quite as opened up, a little flatter in her muscle pattern, and she's pushing a little more chest up there, just kind of down low, and I don't think it's composition. I think that's just kind of the way she is out here today. A little chestier kind of a heifer for me, but good at the ground, good structured, nice bodied, good one to follow up a competitive class winner there on the top end. And then our young lady's heifer we're going to conclude the class with, you know, she has advantages over that heifer right in front of her. She's got a little more substance at the ground. She's got a little more muscle shape and turn to her quarter and her stifle. I think of these first 3 females, though, she's the one that's maybe not quite as soft in her rib. She's a little bolder about her shoulder, a little more tight and concave there through that heart and that forerib. But 3 nice females there that you could certainly be proud to have any of them and exhibit them on down the road. Congratulations to each of them.
What a nice set of class winners in our first division. I think if it's any indication of what we're going to see all day, we got a nice, fun day ahead of us. The young lady's heifer that wins our first class, really a nice, youthful-looking kind of heifer calf that does a lot of things well. Love her out through that front 1/3. She's very complete from end to end. She's a heifer that's maybe not quite as powerfully hipped as a couple of these others out here. Maybe like to see her handle that back leg just a notch better as it hits the ground relative to a couple. But, man, that's a heifer calf that has a lot of future. Heifer that wins our second class, maybe actually a little different out here. She's the sweeter made, flatter shouldered, square hipped heifer that really has a soft coon foot when she hits the ground. She's got some reach out through that front end. Still shows me probably the most angularity out through that shoulder and front 1/3, which matches the hip that she's carrying. Those things seem to kind of go together, you know. And this heifer kind of does that on both ends awfully well. Is she the stoutest one? Will she be the stoutest one in this group? Probably never, but she'll always be pretty. She'll always be square hipped. She'll always be sound as a cat. Love the big-bodied, open rib cage heifer in this third class. She is the powerful one and probably always be the powerful one. She's got a nice look to that front end. Does come out of that shoulder with a really high neck set and comes up into that head really nice. She's a heifer that's got a big old turn to her top, lots of red meat and muscle. There again, I love the way she comes down to the ground on that rear leg. Hock and pastern work perfectly together. Got some bend to that knee. She's not quite as long-hipped as the heifer right in front of her. Probably is not ever going to be quite as neat right in behind that shoulder because she's carrying so much power and so much rib. But, man, that's 3 really good heifers to start our day. Let's give them a big round of applause, and I'll pick your division champion.
We get ready to pick these spring yearling females here for this champion drive, and a good set of class winners and respective seconds. I'll say a few comments. The young man's heifer out of that class 1 here in this lineup, again, just one that's got some unique pieces. Long-bodied, sound, and functional. We get her out on the ground, get her out on the go, really high tying and attractive as well. She's got some width and some natural thickness to her. You know, we talked earlier. She is a little bold there about her shoulder, maybe just doesn't tie in quite as nice and neat right there in behind it as I'd like to see. But you get this one out on the go, and she kind of comes together, and she's real flexible and athletic. Certainly a lot to like in her, and a good respective second there that stood right in behind her. Just a real conventional, practical kind of a female. Maybe didn't wow you in any one particular area, but just real good at the ground, good bodied, good hip. Nice female there to follow up that one. And then we come back to that class 2, and the heifer that comes out of that class for me, again, it started at the ground. I love her foot. I love her bone. She's real practical in her kind as well, a dense made, stout kind of a female. You get in behind her, you like the width and the shape that she's got. You know, we said maybe she's not quite as long-bodied as the heifer that stood right behind her, or even the one out of the class right ahead of her, but still everything fits together really good. She's a little better there at the point of her shoulder and how she blends in behind it than that class winner right ahead of her. And again, a good, respectable second as well that came out of that class. I'll give them one more look, get you a champion. If you would, give these young folks a nice round of applause.
Congratulations, Marley Pakey from the Timberlake FFA. It'd be your Division II champion. And the class winner out of the first Division II class, congratulations, Wyatt McIntyre from Leedy is reserved. The remaining placings there in that second class of Division II heifers, of course, Marley Pakey was first. Second goes to Blakely Stelzer from the Oologah 4-H, and Jalen Coons from the Thomas Fay Custer was third.
What a nice pair of heifers in this class. Only
February females for you here, and a good top three that I like a great deal. And as I kind of whittle on them a little bit and get them down here for you, these two kind of surface off in my mind. They're heifers that are real genuine in their muscle shape. They got some base width to them. They got some natural thickness to them. Within that pair, I think the young man's heifer here up front for me is one that in two areas I think has some advantages. One right in behind her shoulder. She's a little bolder, a little more genuine there in her shape right through her forerib and heart. And then she's a heifer that's just a little square there from hooks to pins. Her tail head set into her a little more ideal in my mind. A female that's really good at the ground when we ask her to go as well. I like the way she uses that hip and hind leg when she gets out here and covers the surface. I don't mind the young man's heifer here in two, and it's close there on that top pair. This one's probably got just a nickel more foot. A little more bone than even the heifer right ahead of her. I like her look. I like her pattern here from the side. You know, like I said, I don't think she's maybe quite as correct right in behind that shoulder and the way she blends into her rib cage there. And she does get just a nickel shorter hipped and a little lower pin than the one that I'm going to go ahead and use to start. The young lady's heifer here in three probably has some advantages just from hooks to pins than the heifer that goes out right ahead of her. I do read her to be just a little straighter and stiffer in her hock as she wants to use it and get out on the go. She's pushing a little more chest there up front today, and maybe just a nickel flatter in her muscle shape. But that one's lines are good, her spine's good, extremely big-bodied and bold sprung out here today. The young lady's heifer in fourth. She's no slouch at the stand. This one gives you a good look. She too is big-topped and stout-hipped, got as much bone work and substance as any of them. I think of these first four, though, she's the one that is a little stiffer hocked, a little bigger jointed, kind of a female for me. Just want to maybe refine her in those areas. And then our young man's heifer, we're going to conclude the class with here. It gives you a good look. She's good in her chest floor. She's got some thickness and some muscle. I think she's the one that I read to be a little too straight there on both ends of that skeleton. Nice class of Februaries.
Back over here on the main side, I think we got four really good candidates.
Congratulations to Parker Irwin from Hartshorn 4-H is first. Crew Cummins from Hollis is second. Third place goes to Kaylin Chambers. Fourth place, Claire Foreman from the McIntosh County 4-H, and Carter Chambers was fifth.
Well, congratulations over here on the main
horn heifers, and a good one to go ahead and lead off. This female is one that I like a lot. Her type and kind, I think, are really good in my book. She's a female that's fresh. She's elegant. She's attractive up front. Her shoulders laid onto her skeleton right. She's got the perfect kind of rib shape and maternal look there through the center part of her body. She's a big hip female, too, that goes to the ground with plenty of cushion and flex off those rear, too. Pretty easy place in this particular class for me to go ahead and tie into her. I think as we move on down the line, the young lady's heifer here that I'm going to follow her up with is one that I think with the remaining cattle is just got a little more body. She's got a little more rib than some of these other females. She still gives you a real nice look up front. She's not quite as put together, as nice and neat as the one that wins the class. She is a little more upright in her shoulder, a little more crooked in the way maybe she wants to use that hind leg. But I think with what we've got out here, she just has a little more body, a little more flesh and ability for me out here today. The young lady's heifer here in third is a female that's got some bone. She's got some foot size to her. She's a heifer, I think, gets a little flatter in her muscle pattern, a little harder in her rib cage out here today, but a quality female to go in the middle of the class. A young lady's heifer here in fourth, conventional kind of a female, bold topped. I like the way her rib comes out of the top side of her spine there. Again, a little shorter coupled, a little shallower flanked, maybe just didn't get out and reach and travel as comfortable as I'd want to see her. And then our young man's heifer, we're going to conclude the class, a little more extended kind of female, a little longer bodied, again, just a little more out of balance. She's a little coarser and plainer up front, a little tight in her loin, a little rigid in the way she wants to go out of that hip, but a good class, nice class of Januaries.
Over in our main side.
Congratulations over here to your Class 6 winner, Ellie Moonen from Glencoe 4-H, followed by Waylon Dishman from Porham. In third, Taryn McCall.
Placings over here in Class 6 of the Division 3. Congratulations to Miranda Hansen from Eufaula FFA, is first place. Second goes to Caden Thomas, the Fairview FFA. Grace Gist from Fort Gibson is third. Fourth is Katie Duncan from Inola, and Carson Collier from Oklahoma Union is fifth. Currently selecting our Division 3 champion and reserve.
Highly competitive lineup here, these January and February class winners and seconds out here for this division. A set of cattle that I like a lot. I think for me, though, it comes down to three of them. The first two out of that first class and the young lady's heifer out of class number 2 there, I think, are the ones that probably best suit me out here today. The young man's heifer there out of class 1, you know, again, we talked to her, good in behind her shoulder, big square hip, stout made kind of female, a female that there's a lot to like. You get her out on the go, and she's certainly sound and flexible there on both ends. For me out here today, you know, maybe doesn't blend into her shoulder quite as nice and neat as a heifer right in behind her. Maybe not quite as extended up through that front 1/3 as the one right behind her, but still a female that there's a lot to like and a lot to appreciate in her. Good, respectable second to come out of that class. A high-quality female that's got bone, got some rugged look about her. Appreciate those things. You know, she didn't maybe just blend in right in behind her shoulder, quite as smooth and opened up. Got a little steeper there from hooks to pins, but it's two high-quality ones there in that first class. And then our young ladies heifer out of class 2 is one that does a lot of things right for me. I think she's built correct. She's good in her shoulder. She's good in behind it. She's super maternal and cowy in her rib cage. You get her in motion and certainly doesn't disappoint you there either. I'll give them one more look. I'll get you a champion in reserve. Let's give these young folks a nice hand.
Congratulations, Miranda Hansen from the Eufaula FFA chapter. Be your Division III champion, Horned Hereford Breeding Heifer. Parker Irwin out of the previous class. Congratulations, Parker, reserve champion. Exhibitor.
Very logical female to start this class.
Get into a few fallborns here and a good pair of them. I'm going to leave them like they stand. The young man's heifer I'm going to start with. I think just balances up a little better out here for me. She's a female that's a little more collected and fluid as she asks her to lead. She's one that's got a good rib shape to her as you study her through her center body. Gives you a good look as well up front. Just a lot to like in her. You know, the heifer that stands right behind her probably is a little longer sided. Got a little more shape and dimension to her when you get in behind these cattle. She's good bone. She's good footed. Again, just gets a little more rugged up there in her front shoulder, a little plainer about that head and neck. Maybe just doesn't reach quite as comfortable as the one that we go ahead and start with. But good pair of cattle there in that first class of fallborn females.
We got a nice set of females coming.
And congratulations to Hayes Devine of the Amber Pocasset 4-H Club. Taylor Mars from Tecumseh was second.
Congratulations over here in ring number
got a set of November females over here in the horned ring, and a trio of them that I think maybe all you could pick apart a little bit structurally out here. I don't think any of them are just perfect, but at the end of the day, the heifer that's probably the best bodied, the best ribbed, the freshest, the most attractive one out here is the young man's female I'm going to start with. I think she has all those things in her advantage, and that's why we're going to go ahead and use her to start. I'd like to see her a little more comfortable there, ideally at the surface off those rear two, in the way she wants to sit down on those rear pasterns. But still, I think she needs to win this particular class with what she's up against out here. The heifers in 2 and 3 are females that got some width, they got some stoutness, some power to them. The young lady's heifer here in second, I think, just offers a little more at the ground in terms of foot and bone. She's a female that's a little longer sided, a little softer flanked. You know, she's maybe not quite as comfortable up front as the heifer that wins that first, that comes out there on top in that class, but still a heifer that you can appreciate for some thickness. Our young lady's heifer we're going to conclude the class with, probably a little better there off that hip and hind leg than even the one right in front of her. She's the one for me, though, that still gets too straight in her knee, too straight in her shoulder, a little flat, a little shallower in her body type out here in this particular drive. But a nice class. Congratulations. Good job, young lady.
Placings in Class 8 over here in ring number 2. Congratulations, Zane Mosier, the Moore FFA chapter, first place. Second place goes to Kaylee Blagden from the Mulhall Orlando FFA, and Abigail McFall from Porin 4-H Club is third.
Over here in Class 8, your class
We'll get into this last class of our fall-born females, a pair of September-born heifers, and kind of just a logical placing for me. I think both of them have some things that you appreciate. The young lady's heifer I'm going to start with, again, just a little bigger body, just a little freer moving there off of both ends of that skeleton. She blends into her shoulder a little better there. She's a longer, leveler hip kind of a female also. To go ahead and get her to the top, I think for me was the right thing, the easy thing to go ahead and do. The young man's heifer here in 2. I like her shape. I like her thickness. I like her power. You know, she just gets a little bolder in her shoulder, maybe not quite as comfortable there at the ground as she wants to go. But a nice class, again, of these horned fall-born females. Congratulations to both of them.
Outstanding pair of heifers. Congratulations to Madeline Whipple of the Fairview FFA chapter, and Mulhall Orlando FFAer Sean Farrell was second. We'll now select our Division 4 champion in reserve.
Yeah, when you get one like this, it kind of makes your job
I'm here briefly, just a few moments. The young man's heifer that comes out of that December class there, I believe it was November, December's a female that, again, just put together really well. I think her balance is good out here. She's a female that's probably as comfortable and soft at the surface as any of them when we get her out on the go. You know, she's not the biggest one out here, but she's big enough for her age. She's a female that, again, just her balance, her kind, her build, I think are really, really good, and certainly a high-quality one that's got a good shot out here at getting a piece of this thing. The young man's heifer out of class 2, you know, standing still. I like her. She's a female, again, that's real maternal in her ribs. She's long and extended there up front. She's a good hipped heifer. I think when we ask her to go, she gets just a little more rigid there on both ends of that skeleton. Like to see her set down, a little more comfort off those rear 2 pasterns, but I do like her body type. I like her length of side. And then our young lady's heifer that comes out of that final class, again, another big-bodied, practical, easy flesh and easy keeping one. You know, she's good enough at the ground. She's maybe not quite as extended as the heifer right in front of her in terms of just her length and neck and the way it sets at the top side of her shoulder, but she's got advantages there at the surface when we ask her to go in terms of her angle to her hock and the angle to her pastern. Nice class, some good respectable seconds over there. I'll get you a pair of champions if you would. Let's give them a nice hand.
Back over on our main side as we get into this division, we got a
Hayes Divine for the Ambipocasset 4-H champion in the Division 4. And reserve Madeline Whipple from the Fairview chapter. Congratulations, Division 4 exhibitors.
Division 4 on this side of the
FFA chapter. Jack Jett from Asher is second and the reserve champion. Congratulations to Gracie Gist of the Fort Gibson for third.
And over here on the main side, your overall champion.
Good pair of cattle here in this April division or April class, and I like this heifer that wins quite a bit. I think she's genuine, she's practical, she's fresh in her kind, she's really good at the ground, super correct on all four corners out here. Just everything balances up pretty well with this one out here in my mind. A nice, easy place to go ahead and start with that high-quality female. Big-bodied, big centered kind of heifer that's coming out here right in behind her. You know, she's not as attractive, not as fresh, got a little more chest, a little plainer in her overall look, but a good pair of them there in this April class. Congratulations.
Congratulations over here, your bred and owned, your champion.
Placings in Class 11. Congratulations, Kara Cummins of the Hollis FFA. It's first place. Second goes to Kaylin Chambers from Alex.
class of horned females over here and a good pair here on the top end. I'll tell you the differences in them and the way I like them. The young lady's heifer I'm going to start with just a little fresher. She's a little more feminine and attractive about her head and neck. She's laid into her shoulder a little better. She's a big-bodied, big-middled kind of heifer. She gets around the ring really, really well on both ends of that skeleton. A little more refined in that teat and udder placement there underneath. Just a female, a lot to like in her as well. One that's impressive in terms of foot, bone, overall power, and substance is the young lady's heifer here in 2. I'd like to freshen her up just a little bit. She's a little crestier at the top of her neck, got a little more chest, not quite as feminine and attractive about that head and neck, and maybe just redesign her udder there just a little bit underneath, a little longer teated than maybe I'd like to see, but still a female that offers a world of quality in terms of her foot size, her bone, her length of body. Nice place to follow up that class winner. Young lady's heifer here in 3rd, and 3 and 4, I think, are females that are good in their kind. Maybe just don't have the intangibles of those first 2, but in this bottom pair, she's a female that's got a little more substance. She, too, is a little better in her teat shape and refinement there underneath for me. She's a female that's good hip. She's got some shape and some dimension to her. Young man's heifer, we're going to conclude the class, one that's attractive fronted. She's good headed. She's good in her chest floor. Gets a little more refined there at the ground, a little shallower in her rib cage. Nice class of females. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations, Class 12 exhibitors. First place, Kendall Devine from the Ember Pocasset 4-H Club. Kaylee Sadler from Ripley is 2nd. Holly Perry, 3rd place from Fort Gibson. And the Hartshorn 4-H'er Parker Irwin is 4th.
Class 2, maintain and breed.
Quality division over here in this horn show, and I'll talk about them here briefly for you, kind of see what I'm seeing. The young lady's heifer that comes out of that first class. I think one that's just so genuine in her kind and in her build. She's good-footed. She's good boned. She's got the right kind of angles, the right kind of flexibility when we ask her to get out on the lead. She's a female that's really genuine in her rib shape. I think you get back off these cattle, and she's got a world of power and density through her stifle, through her lower quarter. Is she maybe as big statured and swoopy bellied as the one right in behind her today? Probably not, but she's big bodied. She's still a big bodied heifer that's got the right kind of rib shape. She's laid in extremely good there, right in behind her shoulder, in through that forerib and heart girth. One that I like a great deal as well out here. I think a high quality female. Young lady's heifer that comes out of class 2 there. Again, a little more extended kind of a female, I think, from end to end. She too sound and functional there at the ground. You know, we talked about her, just her shoulders laid onto her skeleton a little better in terms of the point of it than the heifer that stands right behind her. I don't know if you get off these cattle if she has quite the muscle shape, the turn, the dimension to her skeleton of the one that we see right in front of her. She is a little deeper in the center part of her rib cage. She's a long, level hip kind of a female, but she does get a little flatter in her muscle shape, a little more concave there right in behind that shoulder out here today. And she's pushing a little more chest up front. I don't think she's fat. I think that's just the way she is. She's got a little more chest, that one up front. Really tucked back into her, really nice there. I think it's a close pair. I like both these heifers. They're a little different type and kind out here today. I'll go out here and look at them one more time and get you a pair of champions. If you would, give these young folks a nice round of applause.
I think we got a nice pair of heifers to start.
Those
Champion in reserve. Congratulations to Kara Cummins from the champion. And a reserve exhibited by Kendall Devine. Now moving into our 7th and final division here in the Horned Hereford Breeding Heifer Show.
Just a nice single entry the young lady got here for us. Real cowy, big-bodied, maternal-looking kind of a female. Maybe doesn't overwhelm you in terms of bone, foot, and power, but yet, you know, everything fits together pretty well. She comes in a nice, attractive package. She's going to have a nice, refined udder there underneath. A lot to like in her. Congratulations, young lady, on that class winner.
Congratulations. Class number 13 winner, Teos Heck from the Latta 4-H Club.
over here the young man's got for us. Easy keeping, easy fleshing one, low input kind of a female. She's good enough there at the ground. You know, you probably do need to freshen her up just a little bit, give her a little more style, a little more eye appeal, but she comes to us in a moderate, big-bodied, good structured kind of a package. Nice heifer here to round out our last class of the day.
Congratulations, Nicholas Brutchin from the Mulhall Orlando FFA chapter. We'll now bring back our other class winner, and we'll select our Division 7 champion and reserve. Division 7 champion Taos Heck from the Latta 4-H Club, and reserve is Nicholas Britchin from the Mulhall Orlando chapter. All right, we'll get ring 2 cleared back out. We'll bring our division champions and reserves back in, and we'll select our overall champion, reserve champion, and third best. Again, we want to thank our judge this morning over here in ring number 2, Mr. Zach Butler. Zach comes to us from the great state of Tennessee. We appreciate all of his efforts out here this morning. He's doing an outstanding job.
Got quite a bit of variation in type and kind.
in the horn lineup. Let's start off and give these young folks a nice round of applause. Really, really good set of cattle. I'm pleased with the ones that we've got back out here. Again, for me, first and foremost, I think it was the cattle that were built the best in those particular divisions, just in terms of their structure, their athleticism when we get out on the go. I think they're all a set of cattle that got a nice maternal look about them. They're females that are good in their chest. They're females that are big-bodied. They're dense-made kind of cattle that we get back out here. I'm not going to go back through and talk them. I think it comes down to 3 of them out here in my mind, and luckily I get to pick 3. So those will be the 3 that we run with. As we kind of nitpick them a little bit, you know, there's a couple of heifers out here you could change ever so slightly at the ground, but in those particular divisions, they were still the best quality females that we had, that I had the opportunity to judge. I've said it from day one, and we're going to keep it up here as we finish up the day today. These young folks, be sure that you thank those ag teachers, those extension agents, the parents, the guys that help get these cattle ready, the breeders are where they come from. It takes a lot to exhibit these high quality cattle at this stage of the game, and you're lucky to have an event like the Oklahoma Youth Expo to help build you for a successful life and a work ethic that'll serve you well for many years to come. So with that said, if you would, give these folks another one big hand, and I'll get you a pair of champions.
Again, we got some variation in type and tone.
We have selected champion reserve and third best. Congratulations to Kara Cummins for exhibiting the champion horn breeding heifer. Miranda Hansen was reserve, and Kendall Devine is third best. Congratulations to all you Hereford heifer exhibitors. If we get ring 2 cleared out one more time, we'll bring back and select our champion and reserve champion bred and owned.
get back out here in this division. And our main
Class
It's a good way to get going. Young lady brings us a nice July born female, real sharp, real attractive, got some look about her, got some Springer rib, nice competitive one here that could take a little more competition. Congratulations, young lady.
Congratulations to our Class 1 winner, Lacey Talley from the Hobart 4-H Club.
Your class placings in your Class 5 of your maintain and breed.
Here a lot. I think the young ladies, Heifer, I'm going to go ahead and start with, I think just goes to the surface, a little softer there on that rear leg and rear pastern as she plants and goes. She too, in this pair, you get in behind these cattle, she's a little wider set in her pins. She couples that with a real nice look up front. I like the Heifer in two. Again, she's got a dense look about her. She's bold sprung in her center body. She's real sharp and attractive up through her front end. You know, I can read her just to be a nickel straighter shouldered, a little straighter and more upright there in her knee, and not quite just as opened up as the heifer calf that we go ahead and use to start with, but a good pair there on top. Not taking anything away from the young man's heifer here in three. She's as long fronted, extended as any of them. She too's not bad structurally when you ask her to go. She just is a little more refined, a little frailer, a little harder bodied out here today, but a nice trio of them. Congratulations to them.
Placings in Class 2, the Polled Hereford breeding heifers, Maisie Marshall from the Beaver 4-H Club is first. Carly Thomas from Purcell is second. Third place goes to Coble Lewis of the Comanche chapter.
Another really good class over on our main.
And we had a single entry there in that first class, a July female. You know, this one's as long-necked and good-chested and attractive as any of them. You know, she may be not quite as comfortable as she goes as the two heifers standing right behind her, but there's definitely some pieces to appreciate in that one out here, just in terms of how striking and how much presence that she has out here in the ring. We move into that Class 2 winner, and that was a good pair of them there. This young lady's loud-marked heifer here, again, I think holds her own out here. She's sound, she's functional there at the ground. I like her look and the way her neck ties there at the top side of her shoulder. She's maybe not quite as long and extended in her spine and as level out of her hip as maybe the heifer right in behind her, but still this one out on the go really comes together, and I like the way that she handles herself there on the lead. The young man's heifer out of Class 3, I think just in terms of hip, length, levelness, squareness of hip. This one's really, really nice. She's got a lot of things going for her. She's good and correct there at the ground on all four of those corners. Female real maternal in her rib cage. I'll go out here and select you a champion and reserve, if you would, give these young folks another nice hand.
All right, congratulations, Division I champion Hudson Carter out of class number 3, and a reserve out of class 2. Congratulations, Maisie Marshall.
to start.
And these top 3, 4, I think are pretty nice. And the longer that we're out here, the more I kind of gravitate towards just the structural soundness of the young lady's heifer here up front. I think she's the one that's the best in her shoulder. She's the best in the way she utilizes the angle to that shoulder and the set to her knee when you get her out on the go. She's still got enough body. There's enough bone, enough mass in her. I think she's spot on just in terms of her maturity out here as well. Again, just from a structural standpoint, she's the one that's the most comfortable here at the surface. Heifers in 2 and 3 both have a little more to them. They have a little more bone. They're a little denser featured kind of females. They're the ones, though, I can just pick apart structurally just a little bit. The young man's heifer here that's going to go 2, if this one just goes a little nicer out of that front end, I probably use her in this particular class because I do like her body type. She's dense, she's bold, she's opened up, she's got some muscle shape. I appreciate those things about her. She's just getting a little, wanting to paddle a little bit there out of that front end as we ask her to lead. The young man's heifer in 3 is one that when they came to the ring was probably the one that I liked the most initially, and then you get her out on the go and she's still a heifer that reaches out of her hip and hind leg really well. To me, she comes in just a few more pieces and most of it lies up front. She's a little more open about her shoulder, a little more concave right there in behind it, but still a lot to appreciate in her. The young lady's heifer here standing next in line, I think, is one that, again, from the profile, patterns up really nice. She probably is a little better at the point of her shoulder than even the heifer right in front of her. I think of these first few cattle, though, she's the one that does get a little flatter, little tapers a little bit there from her hooks down into her stifle, just in terms of her shape and her base width. But nice heifer there to follow up some good ones on the top end. Young lady's heifer coming here next in line, attractive, angular, but a female that just needs more body and rib. But I like her flexibility there out of her hip and hind leg a little better than the one we conclude with. Our young lady's heifer, we're going to round out the class. Really up-headed, high tying, attractive and feminine about her neck and chest. Again, structurally, though, just want to reassemble those rear wheels a little bit for me out here today. But a good class.
In our division over here in the
container breeding side, the division.
Here on the Polled Hereford side, placings in class number 4. Congratulations to Teos Heck from the Lida 4-H Club as first place. Second goes to Creighton Carpenter of Leedy. Third, Coble Lewis of Comanche. Natalie Stjetskul from Stillwater is fourth. Raken Rochel from Stevens County is fifth. And Samantha Tiller from Sperry is sixth.
I think we got a heifer that falls right in line.
Really good class of these polled females over here, and an interesting top pair. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that either one of them maybe just necessarily blow me out of the water. I can pick each of them apart just a little bit, but I think when these cattle get out on the go, just the one that comes together a little nicer in terms of everything fitting together and reaching a little better is the young man's heifer here in the cowboy hat. She's a female that handles her hind leg, handles her hip a little more ideal in this particular setting out here today. Where I would change this one is I don't know if she's as good right in behind her shoulder as the heifer that stands right behind her. I would maybe just like to just see her a little bolder there, a little fuller through her heart and her forerib. But again, when you get them on the go, this one I think comes to the top for me, what I've been doing the last few days out here. I like the heifer of the young ladies here at the stand. She is a little better behind her shoulder. She's a little better in her forerib. Again, but when we ask them to go, she wants to just get outside of herself a little bit and maybe just doesn't utilize that rear hock quite as comfortable as the one that goes ahead and leads off. But her body type, her density are all really good. Good sound, fresh, feminine, attractive female there. 3 and 4 heifers that I think that fit together pretty well. They don't maybe have the intangibles in terms of a little extra look and a little extra power and substance of the first two, but they're cattle that are good in their lines. They're attractive. The young man's heifer, I think, in this middle pair is a little better in her chest floor. She's a female, too, that's good enough at the ground. Just maybe doesn't, like I said, doesn't have that natural thickness, that extra width that we see in those heifers that go right ahead of her. The young lady's heifer in 4th, again, practical, big-bodied, good enough structured, gets a little chesty, a little plainer there up front for me in this particular class. Young man's heifer coming here next, a little better in that chest floor, probably a little more robust into her center part of her skeleton. She's the one, though, I think does get a little rigid in the way she goes off those back two, just doesn't sit down on those rear pasterns quite as comfortable. Young man's heifer next in line, long, extended, again, just a little straighter on both ends of that skeleton as I read her up through her shoulder, back through that hock, but I like her length, I like her body type. She's got some flank and some rear rib in her. Nice heifer there that kind of gets on down towards the class. Big, stout, powerful one of the young man's coming next. Again, just not quite attractive and good balanced enough in terms of having some eye appeal. A little bolder there about her shoulder. And our young man's heifer going to conclude the class. Not lacking for performance. Weight per day of age she's got. Again, structurally, she just needs to be reassembled. Give her a little more of a softer kind of a rib cage, softer kind of a package for me to get a little more wound up. But a good class, nice pair there on top.
We got a really good one to start this
Carter.
Two in the pulled Hereford breeding heifer division. Placings in Class 5. Congratulations to Hayes Devine of the Ambo Cassett, first place. Second goes to Marley Pecky from the Timberlake. Third, Colton Reed of the Morrison FFA. Fourth is Emmy Banks from Van Oss 4-H. Quade McIntyre from Leedy is fifth. Sixth is Deegan Poole from the Mulholland Orlando chapter. Garrett Letta from Balco is seventh. Eighth is Hunter Freeman from Medford. Congratulations, Polled Hereford exhibitors.
Another good class of these polled cattle over here. Young man heifer that we're going to go ahead and start with. Just better suits me in terms of her structure out here today. She maybe doesn't overwhelm you in any one particular area, but I think as these cattle are led, she's the one that's the most comfortable on both ends of that skeleton. The angle to her shoulders a little better. She's a little more comfortable there off those rear pasterns. And then in this top pair, she's one that's a nickel more feminine, a little better in her chest, a little higher tying in terms of how her neck gets there at the top of her shoulder. A nice heifer there to go ahead and lead off. I like the density, the boldness of the young man's heifer here in two. I think if you maybe just change the angle to her shoulder ever so slightly, it gets a little closer there on the top end because she's got some advantages in terms of bone, in terms of pin width. She's a big top, stout made, kind of robust kind of a female. Just needs to be a little more attractive and a little better set in the angle to that shoulder to get around that class winner. The young lady's heifer here in three is a female that gives you a nice look in terms of her pattern here at the profile. I think when you ask her to go, though, she gets a little rigid there on those rear two pasterns compared to those cattle right ahead of her. And then our young lady's female here coming in fourth, you can kind of say some of the same thing. You know, she's not lacking for having a little shape and some curvature to her center body and rib. Again, you're just not quite as comfortable on that rear hock. Gets a little chestier there up front than a couple others as well. But a nice heifer there with some good competition ahead of her. And then our young lady's female that we'll conclude the class with. Again, got bone, got some substance underneath her, just not really the right kind. She's a little coarse, a little harder in her rib cage. Just want to see her a little softer all the way through. But a good class. Congratulations to them.
Got an interesting pair.
Congratulations over here in your Class 10 placings. Your class winner was
Over here on the Polled Hereford side, Cooper Curry from Okema was first. Second is Garrett Litta from the Balco 4-H. Third, Krista Kaneda from Adair. Fourth, Chloe Goldbeck from Lomega. And fifth, Samantha Tiller from Sperry.
Another competitive group of March. Here today. The young lady's Heifer in third from her shoulders back. It probably has probably has an upper hand over the one right ahead of her. She's a little softer flank. She's a little deeper tying in through her twists there. But again, just gets a little too open and upright in the angle to that blade and the angle to that shoulder for me out here today. The young man's Heifer that's going to come out here next, a little more foot, a little more substance underneath her. But again, just gets a little too hard, a little tight there in her forerib and heart there for me out here today. The young lady's Heifer next in line, standing still, doesn't give you a bad look. She's attractive and up-headed, but again, when we ask her to go, she just struggles a little bit and doesn't utilize her hock. Not quite as secure, I think is the best way to put it. Kind of wants to hock in a little bit there as she goes away from me. And then our Heifer we're going to conclude the class with, one that doesn't have a bad look about her. She's got some center body and some rib, but again, for me, she's the one that gives up a little bone, gives up a little substance, just gets a little too tight and restricted on either end of that skeleton. But a nice class of marches once more.
Back over in the maintainer side.
Side, Hadley Harton, congratulations from Medill for first place. Second goes to Hattie Gamble from the Mangum 4-H Club. Third is Claire Harton from Medill. Nicholas Brutchen from Mohall, Orlando is fourth. Fifth is Katie Duncan of Inola, and sixth is Piper Tucker. We're now selecting our Division II champion and reserve.
I think we got a tremendous pair to
We get ready to pick you another division champion out here, and a real good set of these calves. I'm really pleased with them. Again, I think the better structured, softer made kind of cattle are the ones that come out and work their way out and got on top in those particular classes. And as we bring them back out here, there's some differences amongst them. I'll hit on them just briefly. The young lady's heifer out of that first class, again, just so sound, so practical. Everything's built really, really well in her. She's laid in right at the point of her shoulder. She opens up into a good enough rib cage. Again, just really correct off that hip and hind leg for me out here today. You know, maybe not quite as opened up from end to end as maybe a couple of heifers in behind her, but I think she's stout enough. I mean, that one just paints a real pretty picture there from the side. She looks like a cow, looks like a female. Real nice heifer to come out of that class 1. The young man's heifer there out of class 2, you know, we said earlier, I think her best look is actually when she's out on the go. She comes together, she too reaches and grabs the surface really good. She's got as much bone and foot size underneath her as any of them out here. You know, there's times she does come apart at the stand there, just a little bit right in behind her shoulder, down through that heart, and that fore rib could blend a little better. But as he asks this one to lead, everything kind of comes together, and she looks the part, a high quality one there that's in some contention out here today. You know, class 3 maybe didn't have quite the heat in it of the other classes that we got out here, but once more, the best structured heifer in terms of her angles, in terms of her flexibility come out of there, and she fits in with the group as we get them back out here. I think this one's knees right, her hock, her hind leg, her pastern are really good. Again, she's maybe a little plainer, a little chestier than a couple others on either side of her, maybe not quite the explosion in terms of just muscle shape and turn to her lower quarter as a couple other females, but one that I still like, again, just in terms of her basic build and her kind. The young lady's heifer out of that last class, I think one that puts it together really well. She's got the structural soundness for longevity in my mind. She's one that's dense and bold and robust in her shape and in her kind. You get in behind the cattle. I love her down her top, out of her hip. Maybe not quite as pretty-headed as a couple others out here, but it don't bother me a great deal. I think this is awfully nice female that, again, just in terms of her balance, her rib cage, the way she ties in behind her shoulder is really, really good. I'll give you another look. I'll get you a pair of champions. If you would, give these young folks a nice hand.
Congratulations to Hatley Harton from the Medill 4-H Club, your Division II champion polled Hereford breeding heifer. And your reserve out of Class 5. Congratulations, Hayes Divine from the Amber Pocasset 4-H Club.
Your placings over here in Class 12.
get into this next line up here, and I think we're starting with some February-born females, and one that I like a lot here to go ahead and lead off with. Man, so fresh, so trim, so genuine in her composition out here. She's a female that's sound. She's athletic as she gets around the ring, really attractive there up front and down through the base of her chest floor. This female's one that there's a lot to like in her. Pretty nice one there to go ahead and lead off. Not taking anything away from the young lady's Heifer here in 2. I think she matches her in terms of her flexibility out of her hip, out of that hind leg. She gets a little coarser up front, not quite as feminine and attractive about her head, a little deeper in her chest floor, but still that's a quality heifer there to follow up a real good one to go ahead and lead off. From there, a little sort in the cattle. You could do it a couple of different ways. I like the extra muscle shape, the extra power. The young man's heifer here to go in 3rd. She needs to be changed a little bit structurally, maybe pretty her up some through that shoulder and front end for me, but still I like her muscle, I like her power. Young lady's heifer going to go 4th, going to go 5th here. A female that, again, got some body, got a lot of rear rib and flank in her. I appreciate that about her. She too's pushing a little too much chest, a little uncoordinated and stiff in the way she goes off those rear 2. And then our young man's heifer, we're going to conclude the class really as long and extended as any of them from end to end. Just needs to have more heart, more flank, more structural soundness for me to get really wound up on her. But a good class, real nice one there to lead off.
Congratulations, Class 8 exhibitors. Kara Cummings from the Hollis FFA is 1st. 2nd, Presley Miller from the Chandler 4-H Club. 3rd is Zane Mosier from Moore. Katsy Atkins from the Locust Grove FFA chapter places 4th, and 5th is Grant Bain from the Elgin chapter.
As we get into this division, I hadn't talked to
a good class of Januaries once more. The young lady's female that I'm going to go ahead and get to the top, I think just sets herself apart in terms of just a little more presence, a little more doability in regards to structure and body and type. She's the female out here that's got the right kind of hip, the right kind of angle to her hock. She's an attractive enough heifer as well for me to go ahead and use her in this particular drive. The close pair in my mind is 2 and 3. I like a couple of things a little better about this young lady's heifer here in 2. I think in terms of just shape, base width, natural thickness, she's got advantages there. She is attractive and good in her chest floor and correct in her shoulder as a heifer that wins. No, but she matches her just in terms of her body type. She's a little bigger topped, a little stouter hip, got a little more circumference of bone than the young lady's heifer right behind her. I like the shoulder, the angulation of the young lady's heifer here in 3. She's good in her knee. She reaches good enough there from behind, but she does get a little narrower, a little shallow there in that rear rib and flank for me to get her up over the one right ahead of her. 3 and 4 again are some, 4 and 5 are some heifers that have some trade-offs as well. I think compositionally, the young lady's heifer here in 4 better suits me a little bit today. She needs to be changed structurally to get up any higher, but she is a little fresher, a little more genuine in her kind. Young man's heifer we're going to conclude the class with, got body, got some rib, just need to lean her up, trim her up, see her go a little better off of both ends as well. But a good class of January as we'll get into this next division.
Placings in Class 9. Number 2, congratulations to Keelan Dierkerson from the Leedy FFA chapter. Kaylee Burgeon from the Will Club is 2nd. Harley Chance of Locust Grove is 3rd. 4th goes to Jasmine Arthur from the North Rock Creek FFA. 5th is Joe Seeley from Tuttle. We're now going to select our Division 3 champion and reserve.
Highly competitive division here in this January and February lineup in our polled ring. And again, just briefly, the young lady's heifer out of that first class, again, just so fresh, so genuine, so correct in her build. I think you get these cattle on the go, and she really floats and carries herself real elegantly around the ring out here today. Not the most overpowering heifer in the world, but everything balances up really, really good in my mind. I really appreciate the build, the structural integrity that this female's got. One that is a little stouter featured is the young lady's heifer here out of Class 2. She's big top, she's stout, she's got some bone, some dimension to her quarter and her stifle. I think you get it that comparing these two females, she's maybe not quite as comfortable in the way she handles that hock and that rear pastern, just in terms of her length of stride, maybe not quite as extended up through her front 1/3, but still a high quality female. Very respectable seconds that came out of those classes as well. I'm going to keep these two class winners together. Young lady, out of that first class, you'll be champion. Young lady here in the blue, you'll be reserve. Let's give them a nice hand.
Congratulations, Division 3 champion Kara Cummings from the Hollis FFA, and reserve Keelan Dierkerson from the Leedy chapter.
Another class where I think there's some give and take.
2-year-old show, December-born female the young lady's got for us. A nice one, competitive heifer that needs a little more competition out here. She's big boned, she's big-footed, she's dense-made. She's good enough when we get her out on the go. She can maybe handle that front-end structure just a little better. That's getting awful picky, but still a heifer that offers a lot of quality in terms of balance and look and presence out here. We'll see her again in division. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Class 10 winner and Division 4 champion, Jolie Prentice from the Tishomingo FFA.
Congratulations over here on the
A nice heifer once more to go ahead and lead off. I think in this particular drive, not only is she a little better in her shoulder and a set to her knee than the one right behind her, she just comes to us in a little softer package all the way through. A little more fore-rib, a little more rear rib and flanking her. Really a long-bodied, extended one. A nice heifer there to go ahead and lead off. Don't mind the young lady's heifer here in second. She's got some flank to her. She's a female that's got a little muscle shape when you get in behind her. She does get a little frailer, a little shorter coupled, a little shorter striding when we ask her to go, but a nice heifer. Congratulations.
I think we got a really nice one to start this class that kind of migrates to the top pretty easily.
here in your Class 15, placing
Old Hereford side, congratulations to Dusty Osment from the Tecumseh FFA. Allison Cook from the Mulholland Orlando chapter is second, currently showing class number 12.
Poldering and a good high quality one to go ahead and lead off. Not only does she stand out in terms of her structural soundness when we ask her to go, but yet she's still the one that's just the most maternal She's got the most capacity, the most volume into the center part of her skeleton. She's extremely fresh and good there in her chest floor and at the top side of that neck. That's an awfully good one there to go ahead and come out of this September class. From there is a little more sorting the cattle. I think the next best heifer in terms of structure is your young lady here that's going to follow up that class winner. She's fluid enough there at the ground. She's correct enough in her angles. Does she have the power, the mass, the body, the one that wins? No. But again, she's built good enough. She offers a little more look of longevity for me on down the road. Don't mind the look of this young man's heifer here standing still. She does have a little more shape, a little more power than the one right ahead of her. But it's when I ask her to go, she gets just a little more rigid, a little more off in how she wants to handle those rear two when she's set into motion in regards to her hock and down into her pastern. And then our heifer we're going to conclude the class with, again, a female not lacking for having a little body, a little rib. Again, just gets a little too coarse for me, a little straight in her shoulder there up front. But a nice class once more, these polled fall females. Congratulations.
I think we got a pretty unique individual to
of our fall borns. We're going to get the August in there with them. Again, good structured, good hipped, good hind-legged female that's got some body, got some mass. We'll compare here in a few minutes to some of the rest of them. We'll see how she gets along there, but a high-quality one that'll be interesting here in this champion drive in just a moment.
Placings in class number 12 in the Polled Hereford Show. First place, and congratulations to Hudson Carter from the Stratford 4-H. Kendall Devine from Amber Pocasset is second. Tucker Roberts from Rolfe is third. Fourth place goes to Brantley Buller from the Timberlake chapter. Class 13 single entry, and congratulations, Grady Carter. Now going to select our Division 5 champion in reserve.
Class 16 placings over here.
Tremendous tree.
Over here in our pole ring, I'm going to pick you this division champion in reserve here in this fall lineup, and a really, really good set of cattle. You know, obviously we didn't have quite the numbers in some of those calf classes and divisions there earlier, but these cattle are really good. We started with that young lady's heifer there out of that first class. Again, got substance, got bone, got mass, got power. She's as long-bodied and extended as any of them. You know, maybe a little coarser-headed, a little plainer fronted than either one of those two heifers that stand right behind her. Maybe not quite as good in the way she transitions right in behind her shoulder into her forerib, but still a lot to like in her. A guy can certainly find some quality in her and some things that you appreciate. To me, I'll be honest with you, it comes down to the next two heifers. And I like both of these females a great deal. I'll kind of hit on them just a little bit and tell you the differences I see in them. The young man's heifer that comes out of Class 2 there just balances up so good. I mean, it's hard to ever get a bad look, a bad angle of her. This one's neck, her head, her chest, everything is extremely feminine, attractive about it. She's not no choke-fronted female by any means, but she's genuine in terms of her composition out here today. She really travels and reaches at all four corners. Does she have the bone? Maybe the heifers that stand on either side of her, probably not. But still, that one is awfully good just in terms of how she's put together out here. I like her look a lot here in this particular drive. The young man's heifer out of Class 3, again, this one's no slouch. A lot of center body, a lot of rear flank in this female from her shoulders back. She's as good as any of them. I love this one's hind leg. I love her foot size, the depth of heel that she's got. She, too, motors around the ring when we ask her to go. Compared to that one right in front of her, again, maybe not quite as ideal for me through her front 1/3. She's got a little more chest. She's a little more open there right in at the point of her shoulder and just maybe doesn't blend quite as nicely right in behind it. But still, that is a high quality heifer that offers a lot of good pieces out here in this particular drive. I'll get you a champion in reserve. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
to the Carter brothers over here in the Polled Hereford Division 5 champion, exhibited by Hudson from Stratford, and Grady was reserve.
Nice single entry here this young lady brings to us as we get into some summer-born females. Good sound, athletic heifer as we get her out on the move, got enough body, enough rib. We'll see her back out in our division lineup here in just a few moments, but congratulations to her.
As we come to the close of our maintain
Back over here in our Polled Hereford side, we get ready to sort this class here for you. Give JP just a minute there to get that champion. But again, a good class of females here. I like the heifer that starts. Again, she's genuine, she's bold, she's stout constructed in terms of her foot and bone. She's got advantages in those areas over the remaining cattle, and then you ask her to lead, and she doesn't disappoint. She's got the right kind of angle to that hind leg, the right kind of set to her pastern. Pretty solid one there to go ahead and lead off this particular class. Young ladies heifer here in 2, I think matches her just in terms of offering a little more look, a little more presence out here in the ring. You know, she kind of gets just swallowed up, I think, just in terms of body mass and density there from end to end. Maybe a little straighter there in her hock. I think she uses it pretty good, but she's a little more hammer-legged than maybe the one that goes ahead and leads off the class, but a nice place to follow up that class winner with. Our young lady's female is going to come out in 3rd, a little more extended from end to end than the one right ahead of her. She's a female that just needs a little more body, a little more rib to get around either one of those 2 ahead of her. Nice class. Congratulations to them.
And congratulations over here on the maintainer breeding side.
I'd get you up to speed over here in the Polled Hereford side. Class 14, single entry. Congratulations, Addison Dugan from Fairland FFA. Class 15, first place, Crew Cummins from the Hollis 4-H. Raylan Parks from Comanche was 2nd, and Mackenzie Boyer from Claremore is 3rd. Now we're going to select a Division 6 champion and reserve.
Cattle that we bring back out here, I think all 3 are females that you can appreciate in their own right. The young lady's heifer out of that first class, again, got a lot of rib shape to her, got her nice soft rear flank in her. She's big and stout out of her hip. You know, maybe not quite as attractive as a couple of those either heifers that stand right behind her up front. She's a little deeper chested, a little flatter right there in behind it. But we get into that June female there that came out of that last class, and again, real genuine, real fresh, real good at the ground, a lot to like in her. She's going to be our division champion. We'll bring that 2nd back out and get you a reserve.
Congratulations to Crew Cummins for your champion Division 6 Polled Hereford heifer.
Congratulations to followed
Congratulations to Raylan Parks from the Comanche FFA chapter for Reserve Division 6. Currently moving into Division 7.
Good class of May heifers over here in our polled ring, and the pair on top are the ones that just bring a little more to the table for me out here today. And I'm not going to tell you that either one of them are perfect, but I do think at the end of the day, again, just in terms of structure, angles, flexibility, the young man's heifer just better suits me a little bit today. She's a little more right in the slope to her shoulder, a little more right in the set to her knee, and how she toes ahead a little truer there up front. She follows that up with a little more accurate step as she gets out and goes from that hip and hind leg. You could freshen her up just a little bit for me. She's got a little more chest to her and a little more pone there around her tail head than maybe ideal, but still a big-bodied, flexible one that works her way to the top just in terms of structure. I like the density. I like the boldness. I like the substance of the young lady's heifer here in two. And from her shoulders back, I think she matches that class winner and maybe has advantages just in terms of pin width and stoutness down through her stifle. But again, she's a little more upright in her shoulder, not quite as good in her knee, wants to at times twist out a little bit there up front, and then it just doesn't follow it up with quite an accurate enough step there from behind in my mind. But a good pair there on the top. A female here in third that looks good here at the stand. She's got some nice lines. She's long and level out of her hip. She's attractive enough there up front, and she's not bad at the ground. She just gets a little overpowered and outmatched in terms of substance and dimension with those two heifers that go right ahead of her. And then our young man's female that we're going to conclude the class with. Again, no slouch. These are all four pretty high quality kind of a heifers. Again, from a structural standpoint, I think she's maybe the one that struggles the most on either ends. Not that she's really bad in that one area, but in a class like this, she is the one that's probably the most upright. She's a little more rigid and stiff in how she goes, and maybe not quite just blown away and need to rework that udder development there underneath her a little bit, getting a little coarse for me. But nice class of Mays. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations, first place and Division 7 champion, exhibited by Creighton Carpenter of the Leedy FFA chapter. Emma Lim from Purcell was second and reserve. Third place goes to Kaylee Sadler from the Ripley 4-H, and Isaiah Sally from Porham FFA is fourth. Moving right into our eighth and final division over here in the Polled Hereford Heifer Show.
Just a single entry here with an April-born female the young lady's got for us. Again, really fresh, really attractive out here. Female gets around the ring good enough. Not the most overpowering heifer we've seen all day, but everything fits together pretty well. I like her build. I like her basic kind. We'll see her back in a division here in just a few moments. Congratulations to her.
Congratulations to Charlie Kinder from the Canadian County 4-H Club, winner of class number 17.
your polled females, a good way to kind of finish up before we get into division. A nice heifer to go ahead and lead off this particular class. Again, I think her build is second to none in here. She's the most right in her shoulder. She's the best out of her hip. She's the most correct in her set there at the ground with her knee, her hock, and her pastern. A female that there's just a lot to like in her. You know, pushing a little chest there up front, but that's okay. You know, she maybe needs to be a little better right there compared to the one right behind her. But there's just a little more to this female from end to end, and just her balance, I think, is really good out here in this particular class. Don't mind the young lady's heifer in two. And again, she is better chested. She's a little nicer necked. She too is a good structured heifer. Just doesn't have the full rib, the rear flank, the overall mass and power, that heifer that goes out ahead of her. Big, powerful female coming in third. And again, a lot of body, a lot of rib, a lot of capacity. Just a little too far done in terms of her composition for me. Need to freshen her up. I think it'd help her get out and reach and travel a little better out of that shoulder and front end than what she does today. But I like her performance that she's got out here. Young ladies heifer we're going to conclude with, again, a female that's got some shape to her when you get in behind the cattle. Just gets a little more tubular, a little more rigid on both ends of that skeleton out here today. Nice class. We'll get into that last division.
Congratulations, Class 18 exhibitors. In first place, Bria Herndon from the Heifer 4-H. Mabry Howard of Allen is second. Third is Hunter Freeman of Medford. And fourth is McKinley Dennington of the Boone Apache 4-H Club. We're going to select our Division 8 champion and reserve.
Nice set of cattle here to round out this final division. Young ladies heifer out of that first class. Again, just a single entry there, but a female, again, I think holds her own out here in the ring with the one behind her. She's a female that's really good and collected in her movement as we ask her to go. She's a female that's got enough body, got enough rib. You know, is she maybe as stout and three-dimensional as the one right behind her and have as much bone and substance? Probably not. But still, that one's put together really, really nice as well out here. The young ladies heifer out of that second class, again, a female that goes to the ground with a little bigger foot, works off of a little more bone there underneath her skeleton. She's a female that's really good in her rib shape and her rib cage. I think you get in behind them, you appreciate her for having a little power, a little stoutness. You know, she's got a little more chest than the heifer right ahead of her. I'd maybe just tuck that back into her ever so slightly, but still a high-quality female. For me, it does come down to these two class winners. I'll go out here. I'll get you a champion in reserve. If you would, give them a nice round of applause.
Congratulations, Bria Herndon from Heifer, your champion Division 8. Winner out of class number 18, and reserve is Charlie Kinder from the Canadian County 4-H, your class winner in class number 17. Cleared ring 2 out one final time. We'll bring all of our division champions and reserves back in to select our overall champion, reserve, and third best.
Well, guys, let's congratulate these polled Hereford exhibitors here. Really, really good set of females. I'm certainly proud with the group that we've got back out here. You know, once again, these were the good structured cattle. They were compositionally right. They were ones that had a little more balance, a little more look about them. Ones that I think going to go out and make some cows and work for you in that next generation, not just be competitive in the show ring, but be able to raise you something on down the road that you'll be proud of. I'm not going to go back through and talk them. Again, there's 3 of them that I like a lot out here in this particular drive. I think, again, they're the cattle that are genuine. They're stout. They're powerful. They look like ladies. They're good kind of cattle in my mind. I'm certainly proud of them. I've said it all week. We got one more drive to get to and we get into our Supreme. But young folks, be sure you thank those ag teachers, those extension agents, your parents, your friends, the people that helped you get these cattle ready, that gave you advice. Go back to them and give them a thank you. A thank you goes a long way. And be thankful that you got an opportunity like the Oklahoma Youth Expo to help build you for the future and make good people once you get into the real world. Again, with that said, I'll go out here. I'll show you the ones that I like best. If you would, give these folks another big hand.
Congratulations, right out of Division 1. Congratulations to Hudson Carter, your champion polled Hereford heifer. Out of 6. Division 6 champion Crew Cummins was your reserve polled Hereford. Congratulations, Crew. And your third best out of Division 3, congratulations, Miss Kara Cummins. Big round of applause to all of our polled Hereford exhibitors, along with a big thank you to our judge this morning here in ring number 2, Zach Butler. We appreciate Mr. Butler with all your efforts that you've done this morning. And now we're going to clear the arena out one last time for our bred and owned polled Hereford breeding heifer. Congratulations to Emma Lynn from the Purcell FFA chapter, exhibiting the champion bred and owned Polled Hereford heifer. Congratulations to Carly Thomas from Purcell, reserve champion bred and owned. Thanks again, Polled Hereford heifer exhibitors, and thank you to our judge, Mr. Zach Butler. We appreciate it.